As part of the ongoing legal battle that has been sparked by the lawsuit that Ripple Labs has brought against the state of California, Judge Phyllis J. Hamilton of the United States District Court has recently delivered multiple rulings involving crucial motions. The action that involves XRP is concerned with violations of securities legislation, and it places an emphasis on the potential impact that these violations might have on the market and the distribution of the XRP coin. A number of significant rulings made it possible for the plaintiffs to proceed with their expert testimony, which was, for the most part, beneficial to the plaintiffs. Therefore, these rulings establish a key foundation as the lawsuit continues forward toward a pretrial hearing that is scheduled to take place on December 19, 2025. This conference is scheduled to take place next year. It is anticipated that the selection of the jury will take place on January 21, 2025. Hamilton's opinions address motions that are controlled by the Daubert Rule, which is a criterion that is applied to evaluate whether or not the testimony of expert witnesses is admissible. For example, the Daubert Rule governs whether or not a witness can testify in a case. The motion to exclude the testimony of Jeremy Clark, an expert in digital currencies, was denied by the court in response to Ripple's attempt to remove his testimony from the proceedings. Additionally, Ripple argued that Clark did not possess any specific knowledge with relation to XRP. Clark's remarks on the architecture of the XRP ledger and Ripple's involvement in its distribution were deemed valuable for further investigation by the jury, despite the fact that the court did not concur with this allegation. Furthermore, the attempt made by Ripple to delete the testimony of economist Safety and Amamis was unsuccessful, in addition to providing additional support for the evidential framework that was offered by the plaintiff. On the other hand, the court ultimately concluded that certain of the exclusions that were proposed by both parties should be accepted. Ripple was able to successfully argue against the inclusion of the testimony of plaintiff expert Joel Silliman, who analyzed Ripple's market operations involving XRP price. Silliman was the one who performed the investigation. As a result of this exclusion, the jury will only be allowed to consider a restricted number of contributions from the experts. In addition, the court granted the plaintiff's demand to remove Ripple's expert Alan Schwartz, whose research projects aim to lessen the influence that Ripple has over XRP. The court agreed to allow a motion to exclude Schwartz from the proceeding. Through the issuance of these judgments, Judge Hamilton has limited the extent of testimony that can be presented by both parties, so defining distinct boundaries for the presentation of evidence during the course of the trial. Despite the fact that this litigation is being processed in California in accordance with state regulations, the Ripple case against the United States Securities and Exchange Commission is being handled on a federal level, which results in repercussions that are distinct from those of other lawsuits. It has been brought to the notice of Fred Rispoli, a legal analyst, that the classification of XRP varies from one instance to the next. However, the lawsuit filed by the SEC is based on federal securities legislation, whereas the case that Ripple is pursuing in California is based on state statutes. A federal court decided that Ripple's direct sales of XRP to institutional customers were in violation of federal securities legislation during the initial phases of the case taken by the Securities and Exchange Commission. On the other hand, as a result of this duality, retail sales on secondary markets were not regarded to be securities due to the fact that they were on the secondary market. The legal issues that surround the legality of XRP at both the state and federal levels are brought to light in this article. The rulings that were reached by Hamilton provide both parties with essential guidance that they must adhere to in order to take part in the regularly scheduled settlement negotiations. During these conversations, it is possible that a resolution will be reached prior to the pretrial conference that is scheduled to take place in December. Due to the fact that the testimony of economists such as Amis and Farrell is particularly relevant, the decisions that the court makes regarding the testimony of experts are of significant importance. As a consequence of this, individuals who have contrasting perspectives regarding the dynamics of the XRP market and the impact of Ripple will be analyzed throughout the course of the trial. As the case comes closer and closer to the courtroom, these recent verdicts have a significant impact on the actions that will be taken in the future, where the claims of securities breaches made by the plaintiffs against Ripple will be subjected to a far higher level of scrutiny when the market is trading in a sideways direction or headed downwards. Individuals have a sense of validation and comfort. The stress that comes with purchasing XRP at a time when it is being offered at a low price is brought up by the spokesperson. This is due to the fact that people experience a sense of validation when they purchase something that has increased in price, despite the fact that there are less options available. There is no reason to believe that it is impossible or that it will not happen in the future, despite the fact that it has been more than 7 years since XRP has achieved its all-time high. As an additional point of interest, the speaker mentions that the market has been moving in a manner that is sideways for more than half a year. This time, considering that there is the possibility of a significant explosion in the price movement of XRP, the speaker, on the other hand, does not have any prior expertise in the financial industry and is not offering any financial advice due to the fact that they are not providing any financial guidance. They are nothing more than a crypto enthusiast who does it for pleasure by producing videos on YouTube about a variety of topics linked to cryptocurrencies. The question that needs to be answered is, in a nutshell, whether or not the market will continue its downward trend. The vast majority of analysts are in agreement that it might potentially drop. There are others who believe that it will continue to rise from this point forward. As soon as things get going, Bitcoin will be the dominant cryptocurrency on the market. However, from that moment on, XRP will do significantly better than Bitcoin due to the fact that it contains a significantly smaller amount of money. A chart expert believes that there is a distinct possibility that there will be a substantial shift in the direction of a reduction in price for Bitcoin, even though this is not a guaranteed occurrence. The fact that Bitcoin may potentially approach the lower 60,000 or higher 59,000 zone is, in his opinion, a signal of a move in where he believes the short-term lows would be if the opportunity presents itself. He believes that this shift would occur if the opportunity presents itself. That Bitcoin may conceivably fall into either of these areas is something that he suggests happens. Furthermore, the speaker asserts that he has been through a number of scenarios that are comparable to this one for close to 7 years, and that these circumstances no longer have an impact on him personally. He is of the opinion that the market will eventually break to the upside, and that XRP will greatly outperform from that point onward due to the fact that it contains a significantly lower quantity of money than the market does. In summary, the speaker emphasizes the need of gaining an understanding of the factors that contribute to the anxiety associated with the prospect of purchasing XRP at a low price and the likelihood of a significant price increase. In addition to this, they stress the need of keeping an eye on a wide range of indicators and metrics in order to acquire an awareness of the current market conditions and the opportunities that may be available for XRP. Even though there have been a number of unfavorable developments over the course of the previous half year, this does not necessarily indicate that the world is about to come to an end. In the upper time frame, there is no change as a result of a move to the negative, and the overall picture is that gloomy and bullish attitudes may coexist at the same time. This is the case since that is the overall picture. On social networking sites such as X, there are certain persons who appear to have difficulties comprehending this concept. As long as the price stays around $63,000, current analysts do not believe that Bitcoin is going to establish a new all-time high in the near future. As an additional point of interest, he is of the opinion that the prior downward trend is now serving as support, and that the most likely consequence is a slide to the negative. This has occurred at the same time that whales have been amassing a certain amount of Bitcoin. When compared to the number of wallets that contain less than 100 Bitcoin, the number of whale wallets for Bitcoin has climbed by 2.9 in just 2 weeks, while the number of wallets that contain less than 100 Bitcoin by 29 wallets. Speculators with lesser assets are the ones who experience the greatest levels of panic since their behavior is distinct from that of those with greater wealth. This is the oldest time that something like this has ever occurred, so who are you out there? Because smaller investors are more likely to panic and give up, other whales who are there to acquire their anxiety at a discount on Bitcoin tail are successful in doing so. This is because the smaller investors are more likely to give up. It is not the whales that are taken aback, rather it is the typical retail speculators who are impacted by emotions that react in a manner that is not obvious. It is possible for individuals to learn how to quit investing based on their sentiments, but they do not learn how to stop investing based on their emotions. There is the possibility of becoming a trader in cryptocurrencies. It is a career in which almost all of the traders end up losing money in the end. If, on the other hand, this is a full-time occupation, then it is essential to acquire the necessary skills and knowledge to become an expert in the field. Another essential component is the management of risks. In addition, despite the fact that the crypto asset class is more risky for a variety of reasons, there is also a greater possibility of return. This is because there is a greater likelihood of avoiding the trap of purchasing and holding for an extended period of time. To become proficient in the process of trading, it is vital to instead focus on learning and getting knowledgeable about the process. The days when the prices of cryptocurrencies are at their most thrilling are extremely uncommon and infrequent. When it comes to cryptocurrencies, market activity is typically both sideways and downward the majority of the time. This exuberant movement, which involves big price hikes and leaps, occurs during the days that are the most exciting. When it takes place, we are exposed to it. This approach, which involves doing nothing after